A community of independent writers, artists, and thinkers gathered at the 4th annual Richmond Zinefest on Saturday, October 16th. It was the largest zine fest since its inception in 2007, with more than 300 people in attendance. Organized by a handful of passionate individuals with help from local radical and anarchist groups, and held at the Gay Community Center of Richmond, the event went off without a hitch. Zines are self-published magazines, often associated with radical or independent movements and ideas, though Nicole Harris, one of the event's organizers, explained they had a broader audience.
Basically, it could be about anything. We have literary zines, comic zines, personal zines, all sorts of things. Usually put together by Staples, photocopier, and some paper.
Harris sat at the registration table with Liz Canfield and Kat Enos Sears, fellow organizers. They had worked tirelessly to make sure the day went smoothly, and their hard work paid off, according to Canfield.
This has been a great turnout. People have come on bikes, people have carpooled. We've had a really steady flow of folks from all over the city all day long, so it's been a really positive event. Lots of people bringing their kids. Speaking on behalf of the group, I don't think we could be any more pleased with how things have gone.
With vegan and non-vegan food options provided by Lamplighter Coffee and fundraising help from the Wingnut Anarchist Collective and the Flying Brick Library, folks came from around the country to share their homemade print. Matt Dubinsky publishes independent comics with a group out of Washington, D.C., aptly named the D.C. Conspiracy. He said interest in zines had faded from our nation's capital.
The good thing about a zine fest like this, it kind of pulls it all together. You have that kind of like, if you don't have a shop in your particular city, you have this kind of one area, one time of the year, where you can kind of see what everyone else is kind of doing, and actually that's kind of lacking in DC, and one of the reasons we come to Richmond is see what's going on down here.
Dubinsky had made it every year to Richmond Zine Fest, and he considers it to be a kind of muse.
It's always been very fun, very kind of inspiring to see the other stuff going on here in terms of comics and screen printing and literature in general, and it's just a good time.
Cheyenne Neckmonster made it from Louisville, Kentucky to take part in the festivities. She said Louisville's zine culture wasn't exactly booming.
It's not really a mecca for things of that ilk.
Her feminism zine, Neckmonster, and her zine distribution outfit called Copy That Distro had a nearly empty table by the time I spoke with her.
I came here with 2 crates full of zines, and I think I'll probably have a scant one at the end, so that's good.
Though money was accepted at all the tables, a fair barter system was also used, with zine-for-zine trades often in play. Neckmonster said most folks involved in zine production don't do it for the money, but for the message and the movement.
Running a zine distro and doing a zine you're gonna run it at a loss. It's kind of a privilege to be able to do zines, that's why I try to make it as cheap as I can for the people that, want to have them.
Local zines were represented, but I went to Richmond's Zine Source for interviews on the subject. The Flying Brick Library has been running its free, all-volunteer radical book renting service for almost 11 years. Located at 506 South Pine Street, it's an outlet for alternative thought and conversation in the Richmond community. With over 2,500 zines and another 2,000 hard-to-find books, it's a unique space in our quiet river town. Volunteer librarian Salem Acuna.
Yeah, that's one thing that we try to let everyone know is that we really are trying to. It's a library, but it's also a space for people to be able to, share their ideas, talk, hang out, but organize, have meetings.
Acuna has been involved at the Flying Brick for almost 2 years. He said he still had more zines to stack, but took time to sit down with WRIR.
And just since I've been working here, I've had people just even being in Richmond for 3 minutes, they just somehow find a way to get here and just drop off a scene and move on to wherever they have to go.
The freedom of the semi-public space can have its downsides, though.
There are all sorts of people here all the time from different backgrounds and different stories, so sometimes it can be easy to say the wrong thing without necessarily knowing that you're saying the wrong thing, but for the most part, everyone's really respectful, and there's an understanding of what the brick is and just the people here, and just an open environment where people can just share ideas.
Nathan Stickle, a fellow volunteer who actually lives in the Oregon Hill row house where the Flying Brick resides, said the library had become a valuable resource to local VCU students.
We've had several students come in looking for books for research papers and stuff. They couldn't find they had to do something on some more obscure, like, political topic or something, and couldn't find it in their, like, local library or the VCU library.
The books aren't the only things held at the location.
We do, like, all kinds of stuff, like discussions, film showings, workshops.
Potlucks.
We've done a couple acoustic shows.
Stickle remembered one particular discussion group held a while back dealing with gun control. He said it was one of the largest attended discussions he had ever seen at the Brick, and the folks involved included Iraq and Afghanistan war veterans, Unitarians, and even students who had been victims of the Virginia Tech shootings. The Tech students were working to reform Virginia gun laws and had attended a number of similar events in the area in the hopes of getting their point across.
One of the students who was shot at Virginia Tech, who's been working to close these loopholes, said that of all the, like, politicians he's had to meet with, of all the public debates he's had, that was the most civilized, most, like, honest, like, good-natured discussion he'd ever sat through.
Back at Zinefest, Annie Brown, creator of Lips, a feminine sexuality zine, had advice for folks considering starting a zine.
I would say make sure that you're identifying something that's not out there in the community. That's sure to make your zine successful. Just identify a problem. If you see a problem in your community and you want to make a difference, I think putting out your ideas in a publication and distributing that will create a ripple effect that even you won't know how far your words will go and who will see your words.
To get links to all the zines and organizations mentioned in the story and to see an HD video of this story, check out our website. To get links to all the zines and organizations mentioned here and to see an HD video of this story, check out our website, www.wrarnews.blogspot.com. For Richmond Independent Radio News, I'm Brad Kuttner.